1. Begin.
Man, that's just for you!
When Gearbox announced Battleborn, it kicked off a trend of reveals for similar hero shooters, first-person character-based online tournaments that borrow elements from MOBAs. In this newly modified genre, the studio is going up against the likes of Blizzard Entertainment and Epic Games, with a style that's completely unique. Gearbox is known for creating big personalities who love a good fight, but do they have the right kind of attitude with their newest project, Battleborn?
Get moving! I need to clear a landing zone to drop the Doomsday your support on the ground.
This'll be interesting.
The game has two modes, Story and Versus. Story takes you through 9 chapters illustrating the plight of the Battleborn with up to 4 other players, and Versus pits 2 teams of 5 against each other. The setup is grim. A race of shadow creatures, the Varelsi, have consumed all but the last star in the universe, and a maniac called Rendane is helping them finish the job, while the script is anything but dour.
The Sentinel's gonna be pissed!
For all the diversity in each character's design and abilities, their humor is typically one note. Some may relish in the game's sardonic take on the end of the universe, but for us, the script never reaches the comedic highs it's grasping for.
Guys, I'm really rooting for you, and I'm being really sarcastic right now.
The setups for each level or map are so brief we barely caught up by the time we missed the punchline. Trying to dig deeper reveals that the lore for each character is locked behind achievements. You need to dump hours into each Battleborn to find out who they are. Thankfully, some are introduced in the story, chatting with you during cutscenes or mission updates, and sometimes joining you in battle.
Many have tried, all have failed. Now's your chance.
You get points in Story and Versus that raise your overall commander rank, and the individual rank of your chosen character. You start the game with a handful of Battleborn and unlock more by encountering them during the story, earning each by completing a challenge or reaching a specific commander rank. There are 25 Battleborn in the game now, with 5 more advertised in the Season Pass. As you make progress, you open up new skins and emotes for them as well. Sadly, you can't play any mode in Battleborn unless every player is logged into an online profile. So a buddy can't join in as a guest for some couch co-op, and profiles have to finish the first prologue chapter of the story before they can manually select one of the starter characters. Otherwise, the game chooses for you. We get that progression is tied to each profile, but it's still unnecessarily restrictive. We rarely found a squad of strangers that was patient enough to complete a single story chapter online, and the last chapter is the only one you can specifically queue for, so if you're joining a group of strangers, you'll have no control over where you're going next.
Alright, tour resumed. Now, on your left is a thing on fire. On your right is a thing that is also on fire.
The soldiers themselves are clear enough in purpose and identity for the average player to find a few favorites quickly from whoever's available. In single player, we prefer the ranged gun focus of Montana, Marquis, or Oscar Mike, and the wide damage of Wrath or the sturdiness of Boulder or Isaac if you have co-op backup and can afford to get in close. Multiplayer requires a different skill set. We prefer to rain death from above as Benedict, let the fists of Atticus do the talking at close range, or focus on support with Thorn or Miko's healing abilities. On top of the power-ups you can collect during the story, or the boosts you get from other player abilities, you can enter each match with 3 pieces of gear. The longer you play Battleborn, the better gear you get. You can activate these one by one with crystal shards you pick up from enemies or clusters in the environment. Shards can also be spent on stationary turrets, drones that follow you around, and other machines that give you helpful perks. Gearbox painted Battleborn in a specific style, one that accentuates facial features and body proportions to achieve each character's particular look. One of the game's best qualities is the detailed and distinct animations when playing or watching someone else play each Battleborn. We love seeing cloaks or helmets dip into frame when flying or falling, and watching Orendi spellcast or Miko fling daggers is mesmerizing. There's also no such thing as a small Battleborn level. The story missions take you through massive, free-floating structures that almost always have a full-scale war waging in the background, or a couple of megaton spaceships sailing by. The simple shapes and loud colors make a few of the areas blur together, but the scale of Battleborn's environments are consistently massive. That's why it's disappointing that some of the major events in the story are told through hand-drawn cutscenes that seem to be a few frames short of achieving their desired effect. The brief loading quips before each skirmish also fall short of bringing the world to life, requiring a fondness for these characters that we're still having a hard time developing. Almost every Battleborn's combat dialogue gets old really fast, but the feature can be thankfully turned off if you're sick of Oscar Mike's one-liners.
Not more where that came from!
There are Battleborn we love to look at and play as, but can't stand listening to. Another unfortunate technical hiccup is the enemy AI and movement patterns. Many targets sprint or leap to get closer to you, and it's easy to get overwhelmed, but we've also caught AI friends and enemies stuck on the environment, or focused on something other than doing damage to us. Most will walk freely into traps, or stop attacking a Battleborn that vanished right in front of them. This can make returning to levels you've already played less exciting because once you've learned everyone's movements, you can anticipate and take advantage of their predictability.
We're doomed! We're all doomed!
Battleborn is a robust multiplayer game that has issues, but most of them can be diagnosed by the astute gaming consumer and avoided if they're deal breakers. However, its appeal is largely overshadowed by stronger competitors. If you're attracted to the way Battleborn looks and sounds, then there's a fair chance you'll find a few characters to tolerate and enjoy spending some time in this whacked out corner of space. We wish the story had a stronger narrative, the online restrictions weren't so frustrating, and the humor had more variety. But the diversity in everyone's abilities and playstyles should be enough to keep the light of this last star shining for dedicated Gearbox fans.